We are with the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has just delivered his 110th birthday celebrations January statement, basically marking the important occasion in the history of the movement. These events were supposed to be held here last year, but we all know that COVID conditions didn't allow them to take place. But of course, under those rules, still following them strictly, somehow life has to return to normalcy. And I think that's why they were able, as the governing party, to do that. And at the stadium, they had not more than 2,000 people, as the guidelines dictate. But of course, I'm not going to waste time because the president doesn't have a lot of time. I think he still has a number of engagements to attend to. I'll just shoot straight to the issue of the day, Mr. President. Welcome. It's good to have a chat with you. I wish we could be having many of these, but of course I'm happy that we are having this one.
Well, good to see you, Zai, and Happy New Year to you. And it's good that you could join us in our celebration and to have this discussion with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are 4 years into this leadership in terms of the election that happened in Nasrec. A quick one. Would you describe the current state of the ANC as better than you found it, or is it worse?
Well, the state of the ANC can never really be reduced to, is it better or worse? It needs to be looked at the challenges that we are facing. Are we able to address the challenges that we are facing?
Yeah.
And the answer that we gave today is yes, through utilizing one of the key or focusing on one of our key priorities, which is to renew the African National Congress, to rebuild the ANC. Yes, we can do so. We've been seeing over a number of years the decline of the ANC in terms of electoral support, in terms of effectiveness. At the 53rd conference, a diagnostic report was put on the conference table which addressed the challenges that we are facing. And we then emerged from that conference with a mandate to address those challenges. So we've been addressing those challenges, seeking to make progress. And as I've said, we've made progress, and sometimes we've faced challenges, resistance to change, to renewal of the ANC. But we are moving forward because, as I said in my address, everyone, the leadership and the membership, now fully agree that we've got to move forward with renewal and rebuilding. And that is a very important development in the life of the ANC.
In a matter of, I think it's 2 months ago, every political party is judged by its performance. Literally 2 months ago, the ANC was put to test. I would say, in inverted commas, it failed the test. I would explain why. If these were national elections, for example, it dipped below 50. So it means you lose the opportunity of being the governing party. So given that as recent as 2 months ago, the electorate walked away from the ANC, do you really think, Mr. President, you are on course to correcting whatever the difficulties you're facing?
What we were saying in our January 8th statement is that we've got to correct and address the challenges. We accept that we did not perform as well as we should have. Our electoral returns dipped below 50% for the first time. And that to us emerges as a key priority. We are not cowered down and hiding in some corner. We are saying, we know we can do better than this. And there are reasons why we did not perform as well as we did. And we know those reasons. And we are also going to spend quite a bit of time doing a proper analysis. And the analysis that we have done now is what we are basing our January 8th statement on, to say, one, we've got to renew rebuild the African National Congress and address all these weaknesses. And doing that, that becomes a key pillar in our process of repositioning the ANC. And we know that if we can do that, the people of South Africa still love the ANC. If we can do that, we will be able to have enough capacity for service delivery. We will have enough capacity to reposition the state.
Yeah.
We will have enough capacity to address poverty, unemployment, and inequality. So all that is what we know we are capable of doing. We've done that for 27 years, and we will be able to overcome the challenges and the difficulties that we are going through now.
I think the challenges, as you've put them, and you are saying you are busy trying to sort them out. As recently as these past few days, you have had a situation, Mr. President, where you took a decision as the NEC. You are the highest decision-making body in between conferences, where your Secretary General was suspended. But as recently as 2 days ago, he had organized an event, or some people had organized an event for him to attend, despite the conditions. So, if people can then act in that manner, do you really think you've got the handle on this?
That is a sideshow.
Yeah.
That is an absolute sideshow. It has no effect, no meaning in the ANC. And in fact, we've said we don't even know about it. And people will do all manner of things. What one needs to focus on is what the African National Congress is doing. And it should never be like, like in a football match. Yeah. Once the football match is playing and the two teams are, the focus should never be on a little boy who's kicking the ball outside of the ground. We focus on what the ANC is doing, not sideshows.
Okay, just to interject, Mr. President, if the someone who's kicking the ball outside is the player who is on a red card or on a yellow card, is standing outside but kicking the ball, so that is certainly not acceptable. And in this instance, this is a branch chair, or these are branch members of the ANC known. In fact, the ANC here had to intervene, who were doing that. So basically defying the NEC.
Yeah, but you see, the point is the ANC here has to deal with this matter. And this is precisely what I was talking about. Discipline has to be applied, national, provincial, regional, and local. So the matter will be dealt with in terms of our disciplinary process. Yeah. So for me, that is the sideshow. The main show is what the ANC does as it moves forward, because that is what has an impact on the lives of our people. Yeah. Because I am more concerned on how the ANC renews and rebuilds itself so that it can have a positive impact on the lives of our people.
You have just accepted the first part of the report on the state capture as the president of the country. Clearly, many of the people that are being fingered in terms of those people who did wrong are some of the senior members of the ANC. Are you not worried that this will cause further divisions? Yes, your statement has said, come out, support this report. But there are those who are saying, no, but this is a rubbish report.
Well, in the end, any report has to be assessed on its own merits. Even the Deputy Acting Chief Justice says so himself. And it's a report that's out there. It's got to be read. It's got to be studied and analyzed. And what we have said as an organization is that we are going to go through the report ourselves to see what is it that stands out as important lessons to inform, to guide our renewal process. And in government, we are still going to look at the report to come out with precisely what do we now need to do. And I'm less worried about those who are saying this is a rubbish report on all that. I am more concerned about how we are going to implement this report. We, as the African National Congress, called for the establishment of this commission.
Yeah.
And the ANC cannot and will not say this is a rubbish report. The ANC called for this report. We are going to analyze it, and we ourselves see this as a very important process that has to deal with state capture.
Yeah.
State capture that has debilitated our government, that has led to all manner of negative things towards the government of the Republic of South Africa, and we are determined to correct that.
Yeah. I think one of the things you said when you accepted the report, and I had asked that question to say there were some lobby groups who had said you were not the right person to accept that report. But one of the things you said, for example, if you are, let's say, fingered or implicated, I'm just going to quote directly what you said, I'm going to move out of the way. I don't want to second guess you. What is moving out of the way means?
It basically means it has to do with the implementation. Because those who went to court were saying, no, we don't want it to be given to the president because he was implicated by certain people, because he will not be, it should be given to somebody who will implement it. So if that happens, I'll say, okay, I will stop implementing this. So anyone else who is more capable to implement it can implement it. They had cited the deputy president or the public protector, however, constitutionally that has efficacy is a different matter. So, but what I was saying is that where I am conflicted,
yeah.
If I am conflicted in taking action on a particular issue, I will say on this issue I am conflicted, and I am not going to be able to execute this because I am conflicted. That's what I meant.
Okay.
So in the end, my own view is that I know that the media wants to be speculative. You want to say what happens when this happens and so forth. Let's wait for that.
Yes.
Let's wait for that moment.
Okay.
Because if that moment comes, then I will be the very first to respond.
Okay. So this didn't refer to the president of South Africa stepping down. You didn't mean that, because I just want to be very clear.
No, it didn't mean that, because those who went to court did not say the president must step down. They were saying, no, he is not the right person to implement, to lead the implementation. So my response is, if I am conflicted, and in the end I may not be conflicted on everything, it might be on a specific issue. If I am conflicted, then I will, to give you a very good example, some witnesses said on Eskom I am conflicted for the coal contracts and stuff like that. So if the report comes out and says, yes, the president had his fingers in the coal contracts of Eskom, and they make a recommendation on that, of course, then I'm conflicted. Okay. Then I'll deal with it.
Let me be direct, Mr. President. Any possibility, let's just assume the report, maybe the coming report, basically says the president is not only conflicted, but he actively participated in Act A or Act 2.
No, that is a wrong question.
Okay.
And that is why I say you want to grab the headline. But I am not going to answer that question. Because as I am saying to you, we deal with that when that happens.
Okay.
Because you want to grab the headline now, before we even know what is in the next report. Let us have that patience. And I am so relaxed about this. I want to infuse some relaxation on your part as well.
I'm very relaxed, Mr.
Sit
President.
back.
I'm very relaxed.
Let's wait for the next report, and as we deal with it, then we take it forward. Okay. Because when that happens, I will be the very first one to respond, not even you. So leave that to the next report and the next report.
Okay, I understand you, Mr. President. And and I'm going to put a disclaimer on this so that I don't take things out of context. I know you read quite a lot. You may have seen an audio leak which came from one of the NEC meetings where you were basically talking about issues relating to corruption. Basically saying, you know what, you don't want any other people to be like followed, so it's fine, whatever they've done to you. So is this an admission from the part of the president of the ANC that he knows that there is corruption in his party?
Well, not so much in the party. There are certain people, let me make it clear, because people make the linkage. They say the ANC is corrupt. The ANC is not corrupt. There are certain people in the ANC who have participated in certain corrupt acts. And yes, there is a perception out there that the ANC is corrupt, but we must correct that and say, no, it is not the ANC that's corrupt. Certain people have done certain corrupt things. So yes, there may well be. I mean, I don't have all the information. I don't have, but it is all these stories that go around that there are people who have participated in corruption. And all that is verified through a type of Zondo report and many other reports that can fathom the type of information that can confirm whether certain people have participated or not. So certainly to correct, it's not the ANC that is corrupt. The ANC as an organization, and there are some people who are saying the ANC is a corrupt enterprise. And really, it can never be. It is people who are either associated with the African National Congress who have participated in certain corrupt acts, just like certain companies and certain political parties as well. And that is how we must look at this issue.
Maybe coming to some of the recent developments that have happened, you actually spoke about it at the January 8th statement, the issue of Parliament, the issue of the Concord. Obviously, you don't need to repeat it. I mean, South Africans heard what you said. But as you sit here, as the president of the ANC, and of course also wearing a hat of the president of the country, do you think there is something brewing that perhaps seeks to destabilize the country?
I deal with facts. I deal with issues that are verifiable. And we are looking at all these, looking at the various dots and seeing whether the dots are connected or are connectable at all. So that is what I am prepared to say at the moment. Yeah. So we deal with Parliament event as it is, we deal with the constitutional court issue, and we deal with a whole range of issues, including the July events. Yeah. And we analyze all that. And that is in the process of that form of analysis. And if there are any linkages and so forth, we will be able to disclose that to the people of South Africa.
Yesterday, many people were hoping to have dinner with their president and have beautiful chat, but their president delivered the speech and then he left immediately because the power went out only where he was. Is there nothing sinister there, Mr. President?
I don't believe there's anything sinister, to be quite honest, and it is power that failed, and with the failing of that power, the security people around myself and the deputy president felt that it is best that we should depart. And fortunately, it happened right at the end of my speech. So I was able to finish my speech.
But you were not able to eat?
Well, eating was not the most important thing. It's never really the most important thing. So once that had happened, the deputy president and myself were whisked away, and that was the end. But I'm glad that I did spend time with the guests, and I was able to speak to them and thank them for their presence there. And I think the party continued. People do not need the president to be there for them to party. So I think they did go ahead and party. Okay,
just perhaps before I conclude, Mr. President, and I know that in the coming days we'll be meeting with your counterparts in the SADC region. Perhaps just a quick one. What are you likely to be meeting about, and what's the thrust of your statement to them?
Well, the SADC Troika, which I chair, is going to meet in Malawi, and we are going to be looking at the progress and the developments in Cabo Delgado in Mozambique, and get progress reports, and thereafter we will have a summit, a SADC summit, which will be evaluating precisely that. And so it's a straightforward type of meeting, which will give us an opportunity to see what progress has been made with our deployment of our soldiers in Cabo Delgado.
Well, I don't want to go beyond what I was allocated, but I just, now that I still have this opportunity, you promised me on a similar occasion that we are going to speak quite regularly.
Yes.
It didn't happen.
It will happen.
Mr. President, you are live on air.
Yes, it will happen, and I'm assuring you that yes, it will happen. We will be able to spend more time and chat more. If you want it weekly, it will not happen weekly.
Sure.
Because the time is just
reasonable.
not there.
I'll be very reasonable.
Well, I'm glad I'm dealing with a very reasonable person. I've always known you to be reasonable, so we will make sure that you do have time to have exchanges with the President from time to time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Well, that was the President of the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, basically giving us a snippet of what transpired today. Remember, he delivered the January 8th statement. The ANC was turning 110 today.